Fat Lad Ad is back. You're probably wondering where I've been, and well you might. I'll probably explain a little bit more detail either in a separate video this week, or depending on how well this run goes, I may have quite a long walk back home, so I might explain a bit more during that. But essentially this is my first run for almost 3 weeks, and the reason for that is I had the dreaded COVID, and I had it pretty bad. It affected my lungs quite badly, still affecting my lungs quite badly, although I'm now negative according to the test. So I guess I've got some scarring on my lungs or something like that. With having asthma already, it was always going to be my lungs that took it the worst. But anyway, I got through it and I'm back on it, but I haven't felt like videoing for quite a while. So I've got a lot to catch up on, which I'm going to do in various videos this week. Try and get back on track this week. You know, because I've got a few things to train for this in the next few weeks. Anyway, what am I planning to do today? So what I'm going to do today? Well, part of me thought, well, what I'll do is go back a few weeks into my non-to-run program and start again, but I really can't face that again. So I'm basically going to try and do my 5k route. I'm 100% not going to be able to run all of it. Yeah, as I suspected, this is a struggle. So I'm about 2 kilometers in for 5 kilometers. So I'm going to walk maybe for another kilometer, a kilometer and a half. And then maybe try and run the last 1.5 to 2 kilometers without stopping. I'll see how it goes. So while I'm walking, I might as well tell you a bit more about where I've been, because it's not all been COVID. So the first Friday when I didn't put out a video, I was in Cardiff for the weekend of that week rather. I can't remember which week number it was. So I was planning to maybe do a quick weight update video, just to have a video out for that Friday or Saturday would have been for you guys. But I just was so busy with work and then needed to leave work quite early to get to Cardiff for a reasonable time, so I just didn't have the time. I did weigh myself that Friday though, and I'll put the result up here, but I didn't film the weighing. I think I'd lost, if you remember the week before that, I think I'd put on half a pound or something, and I think I'd lost that half pound plus a little bit more, maybe like just under a pound or something like that. So I was reasonably happy with that. But then I went to Cardiff and had a really good weekend with some friends, some of which I haven't seen since before first lockdown. It was nice to see them. We did a bit of activity which I'll insert some clips now. So we did, on the Friday night, we did some bowling at, I can't remember the name of the bowling alley. I'll maybe put a caption up. We did some bowling. I haven't been bowling for yonks, probably like 5 or 6 years. And it was fun, but Jesus, the bowling alley was absolutely garbage. The balls looked like they'd been through like an industrial meat grinder. There was like cuts and, you know, worst of it. I mean, the balls you get in a bowling alley are never great, but these were absolute garbage. Anyway, we managed to play some shots, so I'll put in some clips of my friends. I don't think it's any of me, unless somebody else filmed it. I'll have a quick look on our WhatsApp chat for the weekend and see if there's any videos of me, but I'm not sure there was. So yeah, here's some clips.
It's been thousands of miles. Yeah. It was like coming off the Richter scale. Definitely wasn't cold. I don't believe anything on the table. Oh, nice. Oh. As much as you can. As much as you can. More. Oh my good God. Oh, nice one.
So yeah, it was good fun, and we basically played 2 games, and we were split across 2 lanes because of social distancing, something like that anyway. I'm not sure why, it didn't make a lot of sense to us. But anyway, I won the first game, so I was pretty pleased with that. But the lane myself and my friend Paul were on was acting up. It was like sometimes it wasn't putting all the pins back, so we had to keep resetting it. And what we didn't realise at the time was that was counting towards our number of frames that we had over the 2 games. So when we got halfway through the second game, basically our lane just shut off. I wasn't winning that match at the time, but I was close, and I think I maybe could have pulled it back, but who knows. Anyway, we complained to the bowling alley, and they were basically useless. They basically said because we had almost a full game we couldn't get any refund, and even if we could get a refund they weren't able to give us a refund, and we had to write to head office and all this rubbish. But you know, I don't care how much of a percentage of a game you get. It might be 99%, but if you don't get that last frame to get your final score, it's all kind of pointless. So anyway, they received some pretty interesting reviews on TripAdvisor and Google. I'm quite a prolific reviewer on Google Maps for places. I think I've done like about 300 or 400 reviews now. So they get quite a lot of attention. And yeah, so I've put a bad review and put out a bad review on TripAdvisor, and at the same time I looked at other reviews and it was basically a lot of the same story. So my advice is to, at the very least, read those reviews before you go to that bowling alley if you're anywhere near Cardiff. So it was good fun. Saturday, basically on Friday night we got absolutely hammered. We didn't have to be anywhere the next day, so we used that as our main drinking night. So I had a lot of alcohol. I had a McDonald's, which wasn't great, but you know, I knew I was going to be bad that weekend. I'm about to get to a busy road, so I'm going to turn this off and pick it up again when I turn down the side street. I've turned off the main road now, so hopefully this road will be a bit quieter. So yeah, anyway, so Friday night we had a pretty heavy drinking session, went out to a nightclub. Haven't been to a nightclub for quite a while, which was interesting. It was as terrible as I remember. It was supposedly a retro nightclub. You know, we're all guys in our 40s. We like music that we liked when we were younger. But this place called itself retro, but I'd say every other song, track was something I'd never heard before because it was modern, and didn't like it. Anyway, so that was Friday. Excuse me. Saturday was good. We spent the day, started off with a Wetherspoons breakfast, which was good, apart from it being in Wetherspoons. And then we spent the day basically going around all the sort of craft ale sort of pubs, bars in Cardiff. Some really nice ones. Most of them were really quite quiet until we got to this one place which was sort of a bit of a hangout for rugby people, and it was busy. And anyway, I suspect, sort of jumping ahead a bit, I suspect that's probably where I got COVID from, because that was really busy. It was almost shoulder to shoulder kind of thing, but still it was fun. So yeah, we stayed out all day on Saturday, drinking. I took it steady though. I had occasional glass of water, a couple of soft drinks towards the end of the night, but still drinking enough. And I think I had one half when others were having pints as well, just to try and slow it down, because I knew I had to drive quite early the next day, as did others, to be fair. And they took it steady, to be fair. We all did, really. Anyway, we went for an Indian, which was nice. Proper sit down Indian, and it wasn't cheap, but it was nice. And then we went to one of these sort of indoor mini golf places. I think it was called Treetop Adventure Golf, in one of the shopping centres. The hardest part of it was finding the blooming entrance, because it was not very well signposted, especially because it was quite, I mean, it wasn't late, but it was after the shopping centre so all the shops had shut, so quite a lot of the entrances to the shopping centre were shut. So we ended up walking around like the entire perimeter of the shopping centre. So we got to basically the multi-storey car park entrance. And if we'd only just gone up the car park ramp, we would have been there, but we decided not to do that and walked around again, and it just took us ages. Anyway, we got there, and yeah, it was good. We had a couple of rounds. There was two courses. Two courses. They were quite samey. Quite a lot of the holes were similar in sort of concept, in that I'd say there wasn't much elevation. That's what I would like to see. They were all quite flat with a couple of lumps in them. There was the occasional sort of what I'd call a set piece hole, which was like with a big feature in like a tree. You had to hit the ball in, and it did some animatronics and stuff like that. But essentially, once you got the thing in the tree, you got it into the hole essentially. But it was fun. They're about to open a new one, I think, which we tried to go to, but I don't think it opens till this month, which probably would have been better, but never mind. But it was good fun. Here's a few clips of some probably pretty terrible golf shots.
The old club length rule here. Club length. Using or abusing.
Not the best.
All the best, but all the left.
So yeah, I can't remember the result of the first round. I think I was either second or third. I can't remember, to be honest, but I was close. But the second round, that was real fun. Myself and my friend Clarky, going into the last hole, he was one shot ahead of me, and the others were, not really within that much touching distance, as it were. Anyway, so I'd won the second to last hole, so I had the honour of the last hole, and I holed it off my tee shot, if you like. Hole in one. I think it was my third hole in one of the round. So Clarky was much more consistent than me, like getting 2s and 3s, whereas I'd get like 3 holes in ones and maybe like a 6 or something like that. Anyway, I holed it once, so basically that meant Clarky had to get I can't remember. Maybe I've got this wrong. I'm trying. My brain is not working. Yeah, so he was ahead by 1 shot. I hole in one it, so Clarky had to hole in one to win, and he got so close. I didn't film it, but he got so close. It was like millimetres away from hole in one, and he got it in 2, so it was a tie, and it was probably the fair result, but it was very close. Yeah, so Saturday night we went to a couple more bars after that, and then we headed back to our Airbnb. Sunday, went for another Wetherspoons breakfast before we all parted ways and headed back to our respective homes. And yeah, it was sort of, I'm going to wrap this up quite quick because I'm getting to the point where I want to start running again. I'm not far from home now. I've actually done the route, I've cut the route short. I was going to walk the whole 5 kilometres, but I can't be bothered, to be honest. Starting to struggle with my breath. Anyway, so Sunday night was when I started to feel a little rough, and I'd kind of put it down to sort of like a delayed hangover, because it wasn't really, it was just a kind of feel of lethargy, tiredness, whatever. And it was kind of the same story on the Monday. Just, I was at work, just feeling like not really with it. I kind of just assumed it was lack of sleep because I was sleeping on a sofa bed while I was away. It wasn't the most comfortable thing in the world, but it was alright. And yeah, I'm starting to get a bit out of breath already. And yeah, so Monday was started sounding a bit more rubbish. Tuesday, I actually had the day off work because it was supposed to be my wife. My wife was supposed to go in for some surgery on her eyes, and basically got cancelled at the last minute. Absolute nightmare, but not a story I want to go into. And yeah, so Tuesday we had the day off anyway. I spent the most of the day on the sofa doing very little and feeling pretty rubbish. I did a COVID test on Tuesday morning and it was negative. So kind of, again, just kind of put it down to tiredness from the weekend, something. But by Tuesday night I felt really ill. I could barely breathe, could barely get a sentence out without coughing. Tuesday evening I really felt horrible, couldn't breathe barely, almost not constantly, but took my aspirin inhalers a lot. Felt rough. And then Wednesday morning it's start a bit like this, to be honest. I couldn't get a sentence out, I couldn't get a couple of words out without coughing. Took another test, took another COVID test, and that's when it started being positive. A very faint line on the test to say positive. I didn't feel too bad, just the fact that I couldn't breathe. Just getting my breath back. I'm not going to be able to run anymore, I don't think. So anyway, I took Wednesday and Thursday off work, basically. Even though I didn't feel too bad, I thought if I rested then, I could maybe stay off the worst, fight off the worst of it by resting. And it seemed to have worked. Thursday, so Wednesday, Thursday I was off work. Friday I felt much better. I was still getting short of breath, so I tried to avoid meetings and stuff where I had to do a lot of talking. But I worked and I felt fine. Saturday I felt fine. Obviously I didn't go out any of this because even though the rules have been relaxed, I stayed in. We're supposed to be at my mum and dad's for the weekend because it was my mum's 70th birthday. Happy birthday, by the way, mum. And but we didn't go because my mum had had COVID the few days before that, actually, but she was now testing negative. But my dad hadn't had it. Yeah, so Saturday was fine. Sunday mostly was fine, but then I started feeling bad again Sunday night, and actually Monday morning I didn't feel too great, but I still went to work. But it was Sunday that my wife started feeling ill. Basically Sunday night she started feeling ill. She had much more like flu-like symptoms, like temperature, more like cold and flu symptoms. I didn't really have that. I had a bit of a runny nose for a bit, but nothing much. A bit of a headache, which was what I thought was the tiredness. But for me it was mostly my lungs, whereas she's had a bit of a cough, but not, I mean, she doesn't have asthma or anything like I do, so she wasn't as affected by that. But she was proper, sick. Like, she hadn't had a cold for quite a while, whereas I've had a couple of colds this year, and I kind of think it hit her quite hard. So she spent a lot of time in bed. She took a couple of days off this week, just gone. She's still not great. I mean, she's fine, but she's pulling through the other side of it. But she's still probably testing positive. She hasn't done another test yet. Maybe do one tomorrow, I guess. And yeah, so she's been sick as well, and it's been a bit of a nightmare, really. So, I mean, basically, I haven't been able to do any exercise. Obviously, we haven't been doing the protein shake diet. We've eaten really badly, just to sort of, because we've just been, you know, we've not been able to go out anywhere. We did some online shopping, obviously, to get some food, but we've had quite a few takeaways, so not great. So I haven't weighed myself since the Friday before I went to Cardiff. I didn't weigh myself yesterday. It's now Saturday, so it's like basically 2 Saturdays later than I went to Cardiff. And I haven't weighed myself, but I know that I've probably put on, I would guess, about half a stone in 2 weeks, because I've eaten bad and I've not done, I've barely left the sofa. This is the first time I've really been out. I did venture to the corner shop a couple of days ago, wore my mask and all that kind of stuff. I was basically testing negative at that point, very, very faint line. I barely see it. Like, if I hadn't already been testing positive, I don't think I would have noticed the line. It was that faint, but you could kind of see it. Anyway, now I'm completely clear. I just still have issues with my lungs, which hopefully will get better. We'll see. So that's my story for the past few weeks. But starting today, Nikki's still recovering, my wife, she's still recovering, but we've started today, we're back on it. We're back on the plan. We had a protein shake this morning. I came out for a run, but it turned into a walk. But that's okay, I got some fresh air. It's good to be out of the house. It's a beautiful day. It's still a bit chilly, but the birds are singing. And, we got through it. And, but it's not something I want to have again, if I can avoid it. But, I guess it's probably going to be with us for a while. Anyway, that's all from me for now. I'm going to put this phone down, maybe attempt to run these last, I've got about probably 500 metres to go to get home. Maybe try running these last 500 metres and see how I do. And then hopefully this week it'll be back to normal. Bit of cycling, bit more running. Essentially, I've got an actual proper run I've entered at the beginning of April. So I want to be basically back up to a comfortable 5k for that, because the 5k run, it'll be that's what I forgot to tell you. So that week, actually no, what I'll do, I'm going to do a specific video to talk about the week before I went to Cardiff, because quite a lot happened in that week, quite a lot of good stuff. It kind of feels bad now because it's all, I wouldn't say for naught, but some stuff happened. So I will do either a special video for that, or I'll just add it on to next week's or the coming week's vlog. But yeah, quite a lot happened. So yeah, that's all from me for now. I'll see you in another video this week. Hopefully my lungs improve and I'll be able to get running again, ready for this 5k race at the beginning of April. So it'll be fun. I'll speak to you, I don't know, sometime this week.